Welcome to She Sells Radio, my friend. Welcome to day 42 of the Finish Strong Challenge. We are talking today all about how to connect with your highest self. And before we dive into that, though, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode, some new friends of mine, Erin and Sarit of Imuna Strength. You can go check them out at immunastrength.com. They are the best way to describe them. I actually met them recently through a mutual friend, Stephen Scoggins, and some of the coolest, most badass women I've ever met. We actually recorded a joint podcast together that's going to come out soon. So I can't wait to share it with you because we kind of interview each other. And the best way I can hopefully do justice to what they do and the transformations that they help their clients create in health and wellness and fitness. It's kind of like when people come to She Sells, usually they're coming here because they want a financial transformation, they want a money transformation, they want a sales transformation, and they get it, but the way they get it is different than they're usually expecting. And it's different than how they've done it before because they think it's going to be all about putting in more reps, sending more DMs, grinding more, hustling more, because that's often what's taught in both the sales space and the fitness space, right? About how to achieve goals. And then the way we do it is totally different. It's an inside out approach that gets far better and more lasting results than they would get the other way. And Imuna Strength and Erin and Sarit, they take that same approach with health and fitness and weight loss, and their clients are getting insane transformations because of it, because it's actually getting to the root cause of what the issue was, rather than just dealing with surface level effects. And so again, I just want to do a huge shout out to them and say thank you to them for sponsoring the show. They're sponsoring our upcoming Sedona retreat as well. And again, you can go check them out and check out their community. It's very, very aligned with what we do at She Sells world. If you're looking for a similar type of transformation in your health and fitness, and you want to feel really, really amazing from the inside out. So speaking of feeling amazing from the inside out, let's talk about the challenge for today and the topic for today, which is all about connecting and aligning with your highest self. Now, why does this matter? This phrase is thrown around a lot, like who the heck is your highest self, right? I mean, I think there's so many perspectives that someone could take on this. So I'm just going to share with you mine. The bottom line that I have learned through studying and geeking out on neuroscience and the power of the subconscious mind is that your results will never supersede your identity. I'll say it again. Your results will never supersede your identity. So if you have a desire for a certain level of result in your life, but your true deep core identity is someone who is unworthy of that result, or could never do that, or doesn't want to shine too much for fear of being judged, you're not going to do it. It is literally the function of your subconscious mind to make whatever programs are running about your identity and who you are and what you're worthy of your reality. And so if we want to get a different result, we have to literally create a different identity. And so when you think about your highest self, and again, I think there's a couple different layers to this again. And part of this is just me kind of riffing in real time. So I'll share with you what's showing up for me about this today. My personal belief, and again, you get to choose your own belief. I tell even my own clients, like, don't take what I say for granted. Check in with yourself on what feels true for you, because that's the most important thing. So this is my personal belief. You check in with yourself on what feels good to you and right for you. But my personal belief is that there is a larger part of us that is non-physical, and call it your intuition, call it source, call it universe, call it God, whatever you want. I think in the macro perspective, that is our highest version of ourself. It's getting beyond the ego self, beyond the ego role that we play here on this planet, and truly connecting with truth, right? With love, with abundance, with all the highest vibrational things and energies that are out there. And I think that is our highest self. And I also think that at any given time in our lives, we can also identify with kind of this next level version of ourselves that we are wanting to step into. Again, kind of going back to the role that you play, the ego self, whoever that is. But it's like, let's say that maybe you're a six-figure entrepreneur right now, and you're like, I want to go to multi-six. Well, that multi-six may feel like your highest level self right now. So as you're thinking about connecting with her, that may be who you think about connecting with. And again, just my own belief system that our true highest self is non-physical and is not any sort of ego identity we're going to take on in this lifetime. So going a little down the rabbit trail here for you today, but this is, again, just sharing my beliefs here. And so for you get to really connect with this challenge for today. You get to really think about, who is that highest self? Like, who is that highest possible version of me that I can fathom right now for my life? Because again, as you go and as you grow, like, I have now in many ways become the woman who was greater than my highest possible self that I could conceptualize years ago in my life. And yet I also know, now being her, I know her flaws. I know how she has scratched the surface of what's possible as well. And so I have the kind of this new, more evolved version of highest level self that I'm working to connect with at this point. So again, it's always an evolving type of thing. But here's what I want you to do today, coming back into this concept of your results will never supersede your identity. Whatever the vision is for your life at this point, and maybe you'll tie it in specifically with the challenge for this challenge period. It's more like a 2-month challenge, right? So whatever the goal is for that, or if you're listening later and you're not doing the challenge, but you're like, I want to learn how to connect with my highest self. The first thing I would do is I would craft a self-image statement and really get clear on what is the identity of the person who has that result. And I know I harp on this so much on the podcast, and I try to give you the same message like 18,000 different ways. And I still say the same thing every time because this is at the core of what's going to create the real transformation for you. This is, when I was doing a post today about just some of the places in my life where I felt so stuck for so long. And it was because I had an identity of someone that was different than what I wanted. In my health journey, I had a 17-year eating disorder, like just really unhealthy, disordered eating habits. And so badly, I wanted a result of, feeling good in my body and not obsessing about food and not feeling like I had to like count every calorie or work out obsessively or hate my body when I looked at it. But my identity didn't match that. My identity was someone who was really self-critical and really insecure and really focused on her outer appearance and never felt good enough. And so because of that, the results I was wanting weren't in alignment with what my identity was. And it wasn't until I really started focusing on the inner work and how to shift my self-image and my perception to be someone who loved herself and was confident in her own skin, regardless of how she was looking on the outside, and who really was in tune with her body and listened to it. When I did that, the health piece took care of itself and the disordered eating went away, but it was that inside out approach. It's the same approach to what we do with sales and money and business here in She Sells. And again, shout out to my sponsors. They didn't ask for multiple shout outs, but I want to give them some because this is how they approach transformation and weight loss too. So it's kind of the theme today of crafting a different identity and stepping into that identity to create the result that you're looking for. So your assignment for today, if you're participating in the challenge, and even if you're not, I would still go do this, write out that self-image statement, and start it. I always love how Bob Proctor started his. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and in mine, I did a new one this weekend because I realized there were places where some of the unaligned self-image was showing up in relation to the goals that I have right now. Mine starts off with I'm so happy and grateful now that I see the perfection in who I am. And again, just did that feel natural the first time I said it? No, but I've listened to it, God knows how many times since I wrote it out this weekend. And it feels pretty darn natural right now. Things are shifting so fast just based on writing out that self-image statement. So I would really write that out. Who are you? How are you showing up? How do you hold yourself? What are your beliefs about yourself? And thinking in terms of my highest self, my highest possible self, how would she think, feel, act, show up right now? And then that is your self-image statement. And I have my clients listen to theirs several times throughout the day. I mean, that's what I would invite you to do as well. But it's really going to be that reconditioning of the brain to who are you now at this higher level. And then as you go down your path, and we don't have time to go into a whole deep dive on how this works today, but you can tell you're in alignment with that highest self, that highest version of your self-image, because you feel good. You feel at peace, you feel relaxed, you feel worthy, you feel abundant, you feel empowered. When you're in a lower level emotional state, whatever the emotion is, anxiety, boredom, fear, grief, rage, sadness, not that we don't experience all of those, because we do, right? But it's all about how long are you going to let it last? When we're in that state, that is a sign for us. That can be a clear sign. Ooh, I just went back to some old program that's not in alignment with this self-image of my highest self. So what was that old program and mechanism I defaulted to? So you can really leverage your emotions here powerfully to help you notice, when am I on track and when am I off track? But the more that you do this and practice this, the more that you're going to find that you actually start to show up as a different person, as your highest potential self at this point in your life. Although I think there's always infinite levels of potential. Again, you'll get there and then you'll be like, oh, there's a whole nother one. But that's part of the fun in the process. And then you'll start to see your results shifting pretty quickly around you. So that's your challenge for today. Write out your self-image statement. If you want to be entered into our prize drawing, make sure you're registered at elisearcher.com/challenge. And share on social every day that you're completing the challenge. Tag me at Elise Archer. Use the hashtag #SheSellsChallenge, and you'll be entered into our prize drawings. So grateful for you. I hope this spoke to you. Holy moly, we've got 2 days. Yeah, 2 days left of the challenge. It's wild to me, and I'm just so grateful that you've been along on this journey with me. So let me know what showed up for you with this. I want to remind you, if you're listening to this in real time or even a week or two after, we've got our Sedona live event coming up January 17th through 19th at the gorgeous Enchantment Resort in Sedona, Arizona. It's all about creating your quantum leap. The women who are coming and attending are so, just reading through their intakes, they are so ready for so much more in their lives, and they're going to get it as a result of attending. And that is my sole focus in this retreat, is you coming, you stepping into your most expanded mindset of what's possible for you right now in your life, and then helping equip you with the how to get there and truly creating that quantum leap. So if you want to get in, we've still got a few spots left in the room block, elisearcher.com/Sedona. You can get registered, and I'd love to see you and support you as we step into this beautiful new year. So as always, thanks for being a member of the community. So much love, and I'll see you on our next